Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of DEF CON 5 series I've put together here in the City of Heroes Homecoming server, Excelsior Shard, where we're going to be comparing over the next several weeks 5 different defenders, 5 different controllers, trying to answer that question for the ages. Which of these classical archetypes in the game is the superior supporter for your team? Who is going to save your bacon? Who is going to pull you from the fire? That's what we want to find out. And in this first level of DEF CON, number 5, we're taking a look at Electrical Affinity, a reactive buff set with lots of absorb and healing and endurance boosting and to hit and all this other kinds of crazy stuff. I would dare say it's probably the most powerful buff set in the game that was added by the Homecoming team. Oh gosh, a couple years ago, I think now. And in our challenge here, in part 1, we had taken a look at the Emperor Avenger, my E cubed electric defender. Went through his build, saw a little solo action, and then I ran some team trials, and I just crunched the living bejesus out of the stats, the data that was logged from that set of 5 missions. And I posted all those videos. So if you haven't seen those yet, subscribe to the channel, like this video, notify yourself so you know when these videos are coming out. You can always pause this one and go watch the other ones, although they are pretty intense, pretty in depth. It's going to take you all day to get caught up. But hey, that's what a little vacation time is for, right? Well, today's episode, part 2, we're going to get into the other side, the contender. In the red corner, Ostara, my plant electric affinity and earth controller, who I talked about a couple episodes ago in these videos. She's also got electrical affinity. She is not going to be leveraging electrical affinity the way that my defender, the Emperor Avenger, was, where he was trying to get some sort of synergy with endurance draining and damage output. She is more of a RP thematic. She's built around this concept of rejuvenation, spring, vitality, primal forces. She is the maiden of the forest, the lady of the woods, and she's able to summon the plants, the trees, the storm and the electricity and the lightning and the earth and stone itself to defeat her enemies. So she's going to combine plant control with electrical affinity and earth mastery to unleash upon her enemies the fury, the full fury of the forest. So let's go ahead and take a look at her MIDS build, and I think that's a good place to start. Let me swap over to that window. Here she is, Ostara. And we're going to be taking a look at MIDS. So let me go pull up the MIDS build for you. Here we go. Close that, open this, and here it is. Boom. Let me hide this. All right, MIDS. You guys know MIDS, right? This is the hero planning third-party tool that is used in City of Heroes here by a lot of players for and on different servers, might I add. I believe they have other versions that aren't just attuned for the Homecoming server. They have versions that work with I think, oh gosh, Rebirth. I'm not 100% sure the other servers. I don't play on them, so I don't know. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the build, because MIDS lets you sort and plan and organize your hero and look at the stats and the numbers and get all crunchy with your crunches. So here we go. We've got Ostara's build. We're looking at plant control here as her primary set. We've got her secondary set's electrical affinity, and I've taken just about everything in both of them. The only 2 powers I didn't take, I did not take the sleep, the AoE sleep. Not that I have a real problem with it, but it's kind of out of place in plant control. I get the concept of it, but with all the carrying creeper stuff and the roots and the confusion, and there's going to be damage flying left, right, and center. So Spore Burst is more useful as a maybe there's a second group nearby. You want to sleep them and keep them out of the fight. Again, that's going to be kind of hard because you might have your pets following you, creepers and fly trap, and they'll attack it anyway. But anyway, I didn't take it. Defibrillate, single target, res power. I don't take these more often than not. just because there's so many different ways to get a character back into the fight that me spending an entire pick on that one instance of somebody dying or whatever, maybe happens once every other fight or every other mission. I don't know. It's not super useful. But what did I do? What did I go for? As I mentioned a few minutes ago, I did not focus on like any sort of mechanical thing like I did with Emperor Avenger. You don't see a whole bunch of endurance draining going on. What you do see is I've slotted a lot of my powers here for, let's get this down a little bit more, for damage. You guys see the whole thing. So I've got Strangler here, my single target control hold is damaged. Entangle's got damage. Roots is slotted for damage. I have Toxic Dart from Experimentation slotted for damage. Flytrap is slotted for damage. Fissure from Earth Mastery is damage. Seismic Smash is also slotted for damage. So got a lot of little damagey powers in here. And beyond that, the other main thing that I was going for, and you can kind of get a glimpse of that now, if we take a look at my totals here, they're not so hot. Let me shut off Faraday Cage. So take a look at this. Defensively speaking, it's crap with the exception of Smash Lethal, 26%. Resistance is nothing. So this character is not designed to tank anything. Not to take damage. I mean, because she can't take damage. So her main mitigation strategies are, of course, controls. Specifically, Seeds of Confusion will be nice for that. Everybody has played Plant Controller, seen a Plant Controller. They know Seeds of Confusion is the shiz. Probably the most OP control in the game to this day. Ever since it came out with City of Villains back in '06, I think it was. This has been the control power that is pretty much, I don't want to say game changing, but any encounter you have Seeds of Confusion up, that encounter's been flipped and you win. Okay, it's just the way it is. Unless you run into some confusion resistant groups, which the Nemesis pops into my mind as one such group, but you don't have to fight the Nemesis. So anyway, makes it kind of OP as hell. So what else do I have beyond sort of controls? Because even though I do have control as a mitigation strategy, I'm not slotted for raw control power with this build. As you can see, I've got, Seeds is 5 slotted. I do have Carrying Creepers slotted for one of the controller ATO sets here. Other people will slot it for damage or procs or something like that. So I'm kind of using it more for controlling, plus just the procking of the, what is it? Is it Fiery Orb or something like that is in this one? I forgot which one I have in here. I forgot my pop-ups again. Gosh, which one? I have the Energy Font here. So it makes it, this is more sort of my alpha tanky power. So I can drop that. The Energy Font, the Creepers will all be in there stirring things up. Throw Seeds in there on top of that. And for the most part, the enemy is going to be focusing on anything else but me. Then I can start laying down the damage with all these other attacks. Beyond that, my other strategy for mitigation is hit points and regeneration. So you can see I've got several slotted sets of, what is it, Numinas here. Num. I've got 3 of them here, gives regen and hit points. I've got 3 of them over here in Insulating Circuit, regen and hit points. I've got 3 of them here in Earth's Embrace, regen, hit points. And a lot of the powers as I go through them are going to have regen and hit points. And that's going to give me some solid hit point regen pool to compensate for a lack of defenses. And if I go ahead and pull up my pop-out window again, you can see here on the advanced total numbers, there's my regen and max hit point numbers here. All right, so my regen, it's 2.5 times normal. Hit points, I'm at 1320. My base should be only like 1,000, so I've got 30% or so extra HP. I'm about 300 shy of the controller cap. So I was going for a lot of hit points, a lot of regeneration, with the idea that once I throw my controls out there to alpha a group, then any incoming damage I have is already mitigated by the fact that they're confused or dealing with creepers or whatever. that any damage I do take, it's not going to be overwhelming, and my regeneration and a higher hit point pool can keep up with that and keep me safe long enough that I can, fire off a rejuvenating circuit or an insulating circuit to stay, back or get back in the fight even faster. All right, beyond that, let's go ahead and take a look at the sets and the choices. Single target attacks, I've got Strangler here, single target hold, slotted for damage. It's maxed out for the damage. I'm gonna keep my pop-out window open here. So the Strangler's sitting here, and the damage I'm doing here is like 72-ish. But I've also got it. I love the Devastation set here. I don't know if you probably have noticed this if you've watched my build videos often. Single target attacks. If I want extra control, and who you're playing controller, why not have some extra control? Because I'm not slotting heavily for controls, having a proc like Devastation's Chance to Hold enhances your ability to one-shot hold, let's say, a boss. Because the mag on this effect is what a mag. Let me see if I can get this number here for you. Let me lock this in place. Effects. If I shut this off real quick. So right now, the controller version has a mag 3 24-second hold. If you hit critical control, I forget what they call that in controller parlance, but anyway, controllers have a 20% chance to, I think, also proc a bonus mag, so I can, one-shot hold a boss occasionally, 1 out of 5 times. But then on top of that, when the proc for Strangler's Devastation hits, that's going to proc a mag 2 hold, and that's another 20% chance. So if you put that all together, I can quite often one-shot hold a boss. It's not as good as, let's say, a Dominator Domination fired hold, but it's pretty solid, and I should be able to grab onto somebody for at least 8 seconds, up to possibly even, I don't know if I have enough, I don't know if I have enough here for EB levels. I think EBs have a mag 8 control resistance or whatever, but anyway, I could potentially hit mag 6 with a single shot here for 8 seconds. So that's gonna lock down a boss long enough for me to then get some more stuff, and then I can just kind of spam this thing anyway and keep hitting it with it until I stack it, because the recharge in this thing is like 4.5 seconds or something stupid like that. Yeah, I mean, check out the recharge. So recharge fire, it's gonna recharge before the 8-second hold or whatever is up on that extra proc. So I can lather, rinse, repeat this until I lock down a single target boss. But other than that, the Devastation set is giving me regen, hit points, as I mentioned, were a couple things I was shooting for with this build, so I've got that. Some damage buffing and some resistance to fire and cold, and I put that here in Strangler. I've got it here in Entangle as well, and I have it here in Toxic Dart, which is the single target attack from the experimentation set, and that's going to do some minor lethal and some high toxic. I think it has, does it have toxic over time? No, it doesn't show that way. So if you take a look at the numbers on Toxic Dart, all right, this is going to be damaging. Yeah, it does have toxic over time. So here, let me get my face out of your way. So here it is. It's going to deal that initial little plink of 5 lethal, and then you're going to be 10 clicks, or whatever you want to call it. Ticks is what I'm looking for. 6 toxic, 10 times in a row. And that's going to give me like 65-ish as far as the damage. And then there's a chance to hold on top of that. So I have those 3 as my main 1, 2, 3 single target attacks, which to me, every controller I think should have, and all my builds pretty much go with this. I go with a 3 single target attack strategy, whether it's I'm a melee character or I'm a range character. I want 3 single target attacks. This way, when it gets down to that last boss, or I'm down to that AV or whatever it is, I can just focus in on that dude and pow, 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 pow over and over again. I don't want to have to rely upon AoEs at that point because they're so expensive endurance-wise, and typically they don't do as much, bulk damage on one single target anyway. So that's what you're seeing with that. So I've got that set 3 times there. All right, what else we got going on in this guy? Then we're going to go ahead and take a look at, let's take a look at Shock next. So shock is your single target debuff minus endurance, minus recovery, minus damage, and it builds static. Now, here's the one thing I think you're definitely going to notice a difference between this character with electrical affinity and Emperor Avenger's electrical affinity. For a straight electrical affinity controller or defender who doesn't have electrical blast, building your static is more challenging because you only build static through your electrical affinity powers. Specifically, shock will build it, rejuvenating circuit will build it, energizing circuit builds it, empowering circuit builds it, and your other one, insulating circuit. So your four circuits and shocks, you got five of your clickable buff debuff powers from your set. So that's it. And that may sound like a lot, but you're typically not spamming shock on, let's say, a minion. What would be the point? So that's a rarer, static building power. You may be clicking away on your circuits, but the issue with clicking away on your circuits is that when you hit your circuit, that actually discharges your static. The static is adding up, building up, and allows your circuits to jump to additional targets. So even though they're giving you one, they're spending all the static you've built. At least that's the way I understand it. So to truly build up a lot of static with this character to get maximum jumps, I'm going to need to spam shock. So I'm going to have to remember that. Now with my defender, the electrical blast had a built-in side mechanic which tied into electrical affinity, which was your electric blast build static. So I was way more easily constantly building static when I was playing Emperor Avenger, which maximized my buffage with that set. Here, I'm not going to have that luxury. Now, what's the point of kind of combining these two sets then, aside from the thematic RP primal, goddess concept? What I am planning, what I need to double check, and hopefully this works, I'll pay attention to it in this video, is that carrying creepers over here is your pseudo pet control. That's you throw out a targeted patch, and from that patch emerges these carrying creepers, which are just swatting, flapping, vine creatures that attack things within range. And they got minus speed, minus fly, minus jump. There's like an immobilize, I believe, part component to them. They've got, let me see what else. Let me deactivate this for a second. So they've got, some immobilize going. They've got the minus speed, minus jumping, minus flying. They got some knockback stuff, knockdown, whatever. They're doing some, soft control and just being like an aggro magnet. But they are targetable is my strategy here with this particular build. So what I aim to do, and this is especially true for soloing with this character, which Emperor Avenger did not have this luxury, is it gives me plenty of targets to go ahead and hit with my circuits. So if I'm in the middle of a fight and I'm like, oh my gosh, who do I target? And I ran into this with my defender, was if I didn't have Galvanic Sentinel near me while soloing, I didn't have anything else to hit with my circuits to heal myself, give myself absorb or whatever. Or if my teammates were too far away or whatever, and I couldn't rely on those, I needed something close by to target. And I ran into that a lot with my defender, that lack of a just adjacent target. I won't have that problem nearly as much with this controller because anytime Creepers is out and these vines are swatting, I got plenty of targets to hit. Plus, the buffing of my circuits, like Empowering Circuit, which applies damage and plus to hit, I believe this should trigger and transfer to the creeper vines. Same with the insulating circuit absorb, and it should also be true. I don't know if they get boosted by recharge or not, but if they do, energizing circuit as well, and you're rejuvenating the healing circuit. So anyway, all your circuits can ping pong through your creepers and keep them in the fight longer or have them doing more damage. So that was kind of my main sort of goal, even though it may sound like, like, oh, wait, you did all this just for that? yeah, I can get into close range, be standing amongst my creepers, and just start spamming my circuits, which are going to buff my creepers and buff my allies that happen to be near me as well. It gives me a lot of more targets of opportunity for my buffs. And I would say that this set is therefore this combo is probably much more solo friendly than my other my defender was, who's more team focused. So that's one of the things to keep your eye out for. Plus, the creepers, like I said, has the proc with the energy font, which does some damage. And then you've just got this thing capped out for whatever I think immobilize it's going to do. I think it's its primary control, if I'm not mistaken. So all of that is going to be playing out in creepers. The other thing I'll be relying upon a bit, besides those shock building static and all those circuits through creepers, is kind of jumping around a little bit here, but seeds of confusion is the other big one we need to talk about. This, of course, is like your god mode power. So it's a cone. Pull this up here. It's got a 60-degree arc. Its range is 50 feet. So you're gonna be throwing this thing out in a pretty wide range, and you're doing a Mag 3 confuse on targets within that effect. Plus, again, you got that chance for the bonus +1 mag confusion. So I have that thing slotted up, and I have it, chance for side damage in there as well. So I'm gonna throw this at people. It's gonna do some damage with the proc. They're gonna be confused. They're gonna start beating on each other. That's gonna steal aggro from me, which I'm perfectly fine with. So between the enemy beating the snot out of each other, and then creepers beating the snot out of them while they're in range, and then me buffing my creepers with my circuits, and then throw in Flytrap, who's my other pet, which I can target my buffs through. Flytrap has a lot going on. Okay, I don't have it overwhelmingly slotted up here, just 4 slotted with the call to arms. And that's mostly just to kind of get the recharge on top of the hit points and recovery. But the Flytrap here, see if I can get this thing to show up. No, doesn't want me to. Nope. Error. Error. There we go. Oh, it popped up. So here is Flytrap. It has Entangle, which is an Immobilize. It's got, what else it's got going for it? A Bite attack. It's got a Bite attack. Go away. Getting error messages here. Continue. Continue. Go away. All right, hold on. I got to pause this because my MIDS is pooping its pants. By the way, if you are a MIDS developer, it's popping this error up right here, guys, because I clicked on Flytrap to open up the little pop-up window detailing what Flytrap does. So that's the issue. That's the error. Let me restart this. So anyway, I can't show you the stats here from MIDS, but long story short, your Flytrap's got some controls, got some damage, blah, blah, blah. And so point being that I can buff it as well with my circuits, boost its damage, boost its, give it absorb, blah, blah, blah. So I've got, all this stuff going on, all this stuff attacking the enemies, all this stuff distracting enemies. I also got, Galvanic Sentinel, who I can target and buff through. It doesn't do damage, but it does do some additional debuffing. It's essentially throwing out shock attacks like I am. So that's, more distractions, more targets that are going to confuse things and get the enemy, not thinking about me. So the big idea here with all that is all these little pets and pseudo pets out there and the confused enemies should distract enough from me that I don't need to worry about the fact that my numbers here are low and that I'm trying to rely upon hit points and regen. I should be able to have enough distractions that's good enough. At least that is the plan. And then on top of that, of course, it should boost my overall damage output because I've got these pets and things doing their stuff and they're being boosted. And then I'm slotted for damage with most of my stuff. That then will free me up to be more supportive because my pets and things are doing their thing. I can kind of fire and forget them. and then focus on some buffing. And then once my buffing's done, I switch back to control mode, but my control mode is slotted for damage. So I'm going to get the containment plus the, the damage slotting. So containment, if you're not familiar with it, we'll take a look here at roots as an example. Pop this open, hide my face again. So here's what, roots is doing. I've got roots slotted with a set of detonations over here. Let me turn off my other incarnates so I'm not fiddling with things. Well, here's roots. It's currently going to do 40.5 damage. But when I have containment turned on, that damage is doubling. So I'm going from 40.5 to 81. So containment is once you've set up a control on somebody, if they're held, they're mobilized, or slept, or disoriented, if you hit that target with your attacks, you do double damage. So it's a nice way to combine what you're normally doing, control, with what you want to do, which is damage your enemy, and take them down even faster. So hopefully between all my pets and pseudo pets that are juiced up on the buffs, and then containment with my damaging controls, should make this character a fairly high damaging output supporter. Right, so I'm not just going to be focusing on spamming buffs on my allies, but I also want to be able to throw out the damage and control and lock stuff down. So if I can kind of put that all together, I think I don't know yet. Well, this is what the whole point of the test is, right? I should be able to match a defender's blasty output of damage. Maybe my control or my buffs are not as high of a percentage, but if I'm controlling the enemies and damaging them simultaneously, taking them out of action, there should be less incoming damage and mez and attacks and threats that my lower buff numbers shouldn't matter. So that's what we want to find out. That's kind of the goal, at least with this comparison electrical affinity goes. So going through the rest of the powers then, what else we got going on here? I've got my rejuvenating circuit slotted with the numinas. So this is my heal. Got the regen and the hit points boosting there. I've got one of the ATOs sitting here, superior will of the controller in Seeds of Confusion, damage, boosting controls, accuracy recharge. Galvanic Sentinel is slotted for some endurance drain with efficacy adapter. And the bonuses on that set, more hit points, more recovery, more regen. So my regen, recovery, hit points, that was sort of my big, buffing strategy outside of, then doing damage. Also sitting here, energizing circuit, same set for some more hit points and recovery. Then we're going to go over to Spirit Tree. Now, Spirit Tree, it's sort of a weird power that I don't think is that, matching with the set. It'd be cool if it kind of crawled after you like creepers did, but it's a static target. You place it, you plant it, and it doesn't move. It does have a decent regeneration rate that, it kicks out. The regen is sitting here at 8.5 hit points per second. So if you're standing in there, you'll get that much back. Compare that to health down here. Your regen on this, let me shut this off real quick. Your static health regeneration, it's right here. It's 1.7, I believe. So with that versus Spirit Tree, Spirit Tree is much better, at least the way I have it slotted. So it's a stronger power as long as you stay within its aura, and its range is 20 feet. So as long as you're within 20 feet of this tree, you'll get that increased regeneration. At least that's the idea. So I think that actually works pretty well with this particular combo, or at least with the strategy I'm employing, where I'm placing things in a zone, creepers, seeds, tree, circuits popping around. So that should all synergize and work together. If I'm on a team that's running and gunning, that's not very useful. So Spirit Tree is not useful for fast pace, ripping through a mission type of group. So, that's something else to kind of keep your eye out for. I do have the Panacea in here with the heal and endurance proc in it. So anybody who's standing in that zone when I drop this thing has a chance to proc the hit points and endurance. So it's a useful little extra something something while you're just standing around. So that's what you're seeing with these extra numbers here. 7.5% endurance pop, and then a 78, 79 hit point pop. So if that thing procs, which it pretty much will, when I drop it, then boom, you get it. Next, Faraday cage. I have this not hyper slotted because unlike the Defender, again, I wasn't focusing on protection. I was focusing more on debilitation, and this is more for self protection. So I've got a set of steadfast protections in here, which is a resistance set. I've got a 3 slotted for recovery and hit points again, but I also have the knockback protection in here. Faraday cage itself has knockback protection, but between the two of them, I shouldn't be knocked back at all. If you watched the Emperor Avenger videos, you saw me get knocked back a few times despite Faraday cage, because the high mag knockbacks of Council rockets is beyond the whatever Faraday cage's base numbers, which if I'm reading this right, it's like 10 or something like that. So I'm just kind of a little bit surprised that it isn't able to protect me. But anyway, so I've got that there. And then vines, I have, lightly slotted with some Ghost Widows here. Movement speed, hit points again, endurance is what I was looking for there. Empowering circuit, I've got the Gaussians in that. Speed, hit points. Already talked about toxic dart. Speed of light is my travel power. I usually don't just take a straight travel power, but I like the newer travel powers that have come out with the newer pool sets. So like experimentation here, you get speed of sound, which also allows you to activate another little pseudo travel power, jaunt, which is like a short range teleport. So it's a little like a combat teleport. So she'll be able to move quickly with speed of sound. It doesn't have the stealth like super speed does, but you're able to move quickly, and then it gives you this little jaunt. I can pop and drop. If I want to pop somewhere, throw a control, and then pop out of there. Or this also may come in handy. Let's say I'm taking damage somewhere and I need something to heal from with my circuits, but I'm far away, and maybe my creepers over there, or there's an ally down the hall. I can jaunt next to them and then bang, hit them with the circuit when I land to get the heal off of them. So it's kind of a reactive power. I like it that way. Creepers, already mentioned those. Corrosive Vial is my other attack out of experimentation. Toxic Dart I'm fine with. Corrosive Vial I don't like the animation because I know what it is, right? It's based upon experimentation being a sciencey set, but me lobbing a Erlenmeyer flask full of whatever, it's kind of stupid. I wish it was in my envisioning here. For this character, these are like toxic corrosive enzymes or something like that from her, kind of like poison concept is like from her plant controls or whatever. That's kind of my thinking on it, but I hate the lob and hear the shatter of glass, and it doesn't fit my concept other than I have to conceptualize it in my head. But I have it slotted as a debuff because I really don't have any debuffs, right? Electrical Affinity is a buffing set. The only debuff you have is shock, which is minus endurance, minus recovery, minus damage. So Corrosive Vial is going to bring damage, but also has a minus defense numbers to it. So I wanted something like that to make this character a little more debuff utility. And I've got it slotted with a touch of Lady Grey, hit points, recovery, regen, damage. You kind of noticing a theme here, right? I've got, what are my total damage numbers? Let me go pull those up real quick. So my damage buffing, all right, not too shabby. Pull this over here so you can see it. Pop up one. So here are my advanced totals. So I've got damage. I got an extra 18% damage. So factor that in with the containment and stuff, right? That's kind of what I was going for. So boom on that one. Close that up. Close. Let's see. Let's continue on. Beyond corrosive armor, we've got adrenal booster. I love this power too. It's like a little power boost from experimentation as well. I've got it 54 slotted twice, so or 55 slotted twice. So I've got the recharge, and that is sitting where recharge. I've got it down to 270 seconds from 600. So it's on a 10-minute recharge. I've got it down to 270. So what's that? 4.5 minutes, something like that. So not too bad, but it's worth it because it boosts your to hit. It's going to boost your recharge, boost your damage, boost your special. It's kind of like a power boost, build up sort of power, right? So here's the defense numbers it's going to add, and I kind of see this with the totals. If I pop my adrenaline booster here, okay, you can see my numbers popping here. 35 recharge, right? It's supposed to boost special as well, so you should see it impacting your defense numbers up there, I think. And it should be boosting defense, but it's not showing those numbers changing because rock armor has defense in it, and one of the special categories is defense. The only thing I can think is if rock armor contains resistance as well, which it doesn't show it. So that's interesting. So anyway, one of your specials is defense. So if you have like a raw defense power, specials should boost those numbers. It's just not showing it affecting rock armor for some reason. But anyway, adrenaline boost to hit, recharge, damage, special. So my recharge numbers are currently at 23. Those go up to 51, so it's just about doubling those. My to hit goes up 35%. Right, special, it should boost my controls if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check that. Pull up Strangler, effects on Strangler. Shut this off for a second. Let's see if adrenaline boost shows. Yeah, all right, so there you can see the numbers change. So it's adding 6 seconds, so about a 25% boost to control times. So that's why it's a nice useful power. It's just on a long, glacially slow recharge. Its duration is 60 seconds, so it's up for a minute, and then it's going to be down for like 3 minutes. That's pretty much just the way it is. Now, if I can get some outside, endurance boosting or recharge boosting, then that's even better. Which I think, if I hit myself with energizing circuit, then it should give me the recharge on top of that. What's weird is energizing circuit doesn't have a little radio button next to it that I can select it as it would affect me, like you see here in empowering circuit. So an empowering circuit hits you, it should give you extra damage into hit. That's not showing either in mids here. Interesting. Anyway, I guess a lot of these things just are not coded yet or something. I don't know. I guess EA needs some more work on mids, guys. What else we got? Fly trap, already mentioned that. Insulating circuit, already talked about that. Numina amp up. I have this guy also with 255s. So the recharge on this is down to 130 seconds. The duration is 90. So I got about a 45-second window of not being up. And amp up is that great power you throw on your ally to give them plus special and plus recharge. So the plus special boosts a lot of different stats. And the recharge, of course, like attack speed, that sort of thing. So I'd like thinking about this, throwing it like on a Dominator is a great example. But anybody could benefit from some recharge, of course. And the recharge boost on it, I think, is pretty hefty, right? It was like a 50% boost to recharge. I mean, come on. Then we got Fisher. There's my Stompy Stomp attack power with a detonation, just like I have in Roots over here. So I've got 2 of those. And I like the set bonus on that with the resistance, damage resistance stuff, the hit points, the defense numbers on there. If I could get more AoE attacks with that, that would probably be, I would like to. That's something I could throw like down a Corrosive Vial as an example to get some more of it, but I probably capped my hit points or something at this point. And then what else we got? Last couple powers. We got Seismic Smash sitting here. I got a Mako's in that one. Some toxic resistance, some hit points, some damage boosting there, 4 slotting, big old pounder. This is much better than, let's say, Thunderstrike on my defender is. Rock armor, to talk about that, we got a Luck of the Gambler sitting here with the global recharge proc in it, regen, hit points, accuracy boost, and an Earth's Embrace. That's your self buff plus hit points, like a heal type of power. I think it's max HP though. But anyway, it's gonna do regen, hit points, right? Bang, bang, bang. You see my idea here. I've got a Numina's global unique over there with the regen and the recovery proc in it. And I believe stamina I have it just slotted with two standard 55 IOs with endurance mod. You know, I could maybe throw the performance shifter in there. I didn't. So boom, but I don't really need performance shifter. If you take a look at my recovery right now, it's pretty solid, right? I'm 3 second recovery. My drain is 0.79. So I've got whatever that is, 4-to-1 ratio, which is beautiful. So I can spam attacks like nobody's business. And if I start like just clicking all this crap, boom, boom, boom. It's really not changing anything. Turn that on, procs. All right, then the last thing we need to take a look at here for this build is the incarnates, of course. That's what else are we going for? I've got incarnates down here. Let's take a look and pull my pop-outs window here again. I went ahead with Vigor Radial Paragon as my alpha. Let's take a look at that in detail here. Pull up this. And what it's going to do is boost my, actually here, let me close the pop-out window. Let's use pop-ups instead. All right, so here's Vigor. Scoot this down. And healing, right? So I've got heals with my circuits. I've got heals to help with health. I've got Earth's Embrace. So that's going to boost like 4 of my powers. Accuracy, of course, because I need to hit if I'm going to control. Endurance reduction, because I am going to be throwing out powers, fast and furious, so that'll help me even more. And then it's also boosting some of my control, confuse duration being the main one. So boom, click that thing. That's going to help me with, let's say, take a look at Seeds of Confusion now. If I turn it off again, so my confusion goes from 30 some seconds up to 40 seconds here on the mag 1, and then the main confusion 76 seconds up to 85 seconds. So if I get somebody else confused for over a minute, that's game over. I mean, that mob is destroyed at that point, right? That's against even cons, so it's going to be less time against +4s or whatever, but still, that's awesome. And then I've got control core embodiment, and for that one, this is going to add the chance for the +1 mag. So it's acting like your overpowering controller little buff here. So if that thing fires, you're going to get another +1 mag. So that is a 33% chance to proc for 10 seconds. Then you got, the 20% chance for the other mag one for 40 seconds. Then you got your main confusion, which is 3. So I could throw out a mag 5 confuse for like 10 seconds or whatever with if the control core fires away. It also provides a static MES resistance global for you. And then it has the chance for side damage. So I'll do some extra side damage. So, throwing that in there for something like roots is nice. It's going to have an extra proc for roots. It's going to add some extra damage to roots. More damage is always nice. More control is always nice. So I don't feel bad about undersiding my control when I do stuff like have the control hybrid, have the vigor with the extra confuse in it. I also went ahead and grabbed Cognitive Flawless as my interface. That has a chance to proc confusion and proc some DOT for side damage. So again, if I take a look at what that's going to do to Seeds of Confusion here, let's see if it shows up. Throw the cognitive in there. And not going to show for me, are you? Of course not. Chance to confuse. Does it show it over here at all? No. So sad. Anyway, can do some more damage, can do some more confusion whenever I'm attacking. I don't know, maybe the cognitive only works with damaging attacks. That might be why it's not showing up here. Let me see what it shows for roots effects. That could be why. Yeah, I think your interface is only proc off of damaging attacks. So here you can see it and roots. So it's going to add a mag 2 confusion proc for 4.3 seconds. I don't know how long it lasts. It's only going to be, sorry, well, I don't know what the chance, the percent chance is. I don't know, 10%, who knows? So that would be even more confusion I can throw around with any of my damaging attacks. So stuff like roots can be proccing this. I believe that also transfers to creepers. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, yeah, there it is. So let's check this out. So creepers now, right here, you can see creepers will also proc confusion. So I've got all these, sweeping creepers, and you got the roots doing their DOT stuff. You got, I think, corrosive vial is also going to proc the confusion because it does damage, right? Your toxic dart, which has damage over time. And if I'm not mistaken, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think the DOT, I don't know if the DOT is automatic or if it has a to hit check also, but if it has a to hit check also, then that can potentially proc this interface more than one time with a single like attack. Maybe I don't know if there's some built-in code that prevents that, or if the DOTs don't have their, and maybe they don't keep checking for to hit roll. So it might just be on the primary hit that it matters. But long story short, I got these things as swatting away. Fling thorns from my pet's going to be triggering this proc, so I should have things confused is the bottom line between the normal confusion plus the control mag plus the controller's boosting mag. Cognitive is going to be firing some confusion out there now. All right, so bam, bam, bam. I did grab Ion Radial Judgment because that's going to give me some endurance drain and recovery, which will team up a little bit with what my shock and what my galvanic sentinel are doing. So I do have some endurance drain built into this and some minus recovery, just not a ton. I went more for the chance to hold on this one because now I get more proccable holds flying out there besides just my devastations that I've slotted. Then I have my true defense of hey, your defense sucks, you can get murdered. I did take barrier, right? So you can see how that's gonna help. If I click this, boom, caps my defenses. So again, that's why I'm not super worried about having kind of terrible numbers to start. Faraday cage is gonna give me some additional resistance. You see that there's Faraday cage, so I'm usually gonna be in Faraday cage, so it gives me usable numbers. And then if I know there's a tough fight or tough fights happening, I fire up barrier. Boom, I'm capping my resistances. My defenses are like 100% across the board. So boom, got lots of protection there. And then last but not least, I went ahead and took the carnies. They've got some side damage thrown out there. Did I take the? I went core, so I went for the damaging side. I didn't go for the radial support side. I need damage. I've got my own support. I don't need somebody buffing me. I can buff myself, and it gives me more targets to hit. Right now, I have two pets here. I've got fly traps, a third pet. I've got galvanic sentinel. That's a fourth pet. I've got creepers, which are 6 or 10 pets or something like that. So I've got tons of pets out there that I'm gonna be able to circuit chain off of. So even if I'm soloing, I'm not too worried about not being able to find a target to get a buff off of. Put me on a team, I've got even more targets I can circuit chain off of. I think the problem that you're gonna see, or potential, is because your circuit jumps are limited in number. If your creepers are stealing a bunch of your jumps, it can impact the support you're able to provide to your allies. Because let's say your circuit jumps 3 times, and your target an ally that's in danger. They get the primary boost, and then the thing starts to jump. Well, if it jumps to 3 creepers, it's not jumping to you, right? Or if it jumps to your fly trap, it's not jumping to you. So you can find yourself, I think, high and dry sometimes, depending on how many targets are running around. If you got a bunch of teammates, they got pets, and you got pets, and there's pets everywhere. You're not going to get the full advantage of your circuits. So there you go. That is her mids build in detail and all the thoughts behind it. What this translates into actual gameplay, well, that is what we're going to find out next. So I'm going to go ahead and run a solo mission just with her taking on some. I think what I did with my defender was just 54. No, it was 50s times 8. So I just ran, even levels times 8, run some console, whatever, just to kind of get a feel for the character and what it can do and show you guys the basic powers and how they work together, at least by herself. And then I'll go ahead and get a team going and have a separate video about that like I did with Emperor Avenger. All right, so once you hang tight for a second, let me fire up this solo, and then we'll see what happens. Be right back. All right, I have found my mission, and I am ready to rock and roll with this solo test. Let me go ahead and pull up the COH window. There it is. And let's take a look at what's going on with Ostara here. Now, those of you guys who have taken Earth Mastery or have your rock armor know it really jacks up your costume. Sucks, but kind of like the way she looks. Try to match what my dolly images are showing you guys with the actual character images from the character creator. So not too shabby, not too far off, but here you go. This is her. She's got rock armor. As soon as you add that, you get this big old lumpy mess on you. But I'm kind of thinking this is her summoning the loam of the earth, and maybe this is like moss covered soil or something like that. Kind of like that idea. So fits thematically there. She's protecting herself. And then we're going to go ahead and summon our pets. Galvanic Sentinel. Fly Trap. Get the frickin' carnies out there. Let's have a party, guys. Boom. Get them all out there. Let's turn this crap on aggressive. Boom. Get my boss juiced up. Get her amped. Empowered. Energized. Insulated. Now we're ready to go. Watch these guys on the left. Let's throw some creeps out here. Let's put down my flag here. I can juice through the creepers. You can see the creepers are taking the insulation, so I'm assuming they take the other buffs then. Pull him. Let's keep going forward. I didn't even bother with Faraday cage. Guess I should do that. Some seeds out there. One thing I do think this character gets busy, so sometimes I get too busy to even pay attention that I'm dying. Of course, we got a res, right? Why not? See how I'm juicing off the creepers like that? That gives me extra targets. I got another pet too with my little fairy there. Get amped. Wish my fly trap would get any closer. See some nice juicy targets dead ahead. I'm not going to try to clear this map or anything. This looks promising. Alright, come on guys, get it close. I want to... stupid. Come on, dudes. You guys are killing me. I don't need you engaging everybody. Just murdered everybody up there. Okay. My fairy got killed. Alright, come on, guys. I want you to go this way. Let's juice up. Throw that in there. Fly trap's getting killed around the corner. He's got a party going. Hang in there, fly trap. Whoa. Okay. Fly trap, stop getting effing killed over there, bro. I'm out of pets. I need some more. But watch this video again and see what the hell hit me. My freaking fly trap again. Let's keep targeting through galvanic. Creepers here. Ah, the life of a controller. It's there all day. Yeah, I wonder if there was a res kill in there, or I just got drilled by 3 rockets or something. That is the issue with controllers, though. Your pets go freaking nuts. I guess that was not the way to go. I don't know why my galvanic sentinel is like a mile behind me. I don't know if you saw that, but I just managed to buff that creep and got heal on it and me. And the tree back there, the res or regen tree, you can kind of see how that was not very useful. It has to be right next to you. Amp up. Love these resin puppies. Makes it so much fun. Go. Find the way eventually. Let's try this way. There's some creepers over there. Galvanic Sentinel out. There's some confusion in there. Yeah, res, do it. So here's an example of the fire and forget. Like, these guys just over here getting spanked by creepers. I don't even know what's going on over there. But the vines make it hard to just tab target to the pet that I really wanted, which was Flytrap. See, and we're resin? Of course. Of course there's more resin. Whoa. Hold on. That was close. Stepped out of my Faraday cage and got held. Let's go. Let's open with this. I feel like I need some more recharge on my seeds. Get ready for the res. All right. Get my other pets out. Let's go to aggressive mode. Let's jack up the mistress. I feel it's gonna be one of those rooms, you know? Why, yes, it is one of those rooms. I don't think he wants to be pulling creepers near him. Go me. All right, that was a good fight. Anybody see a Richter bomb anywhere? There it it is. Alright. I don't know if I just need to click it or... see what happens. There's the bomb. Of course, that didn't clear the mission, right? I want to save my creepers for the other group back there. So let's see if I can get a confusion on these idiots here. A lot of bosses on this mission. Alright, I'm gonna creep these guys. Creeper creepers. Cheaper creeper peepers. Alright, I'll throw this in there. Throw that. Turtle mode, turtle mode. Turtle down. Come on, fly trap, hang in there, boy, hang in there. Dude, don't go off the reservation, man. Come on, or... I guess... people say that anymore? Probably not. Apologies, old saying. Come on, get him. Stay over here, dummy. So yeah, there you go. There's an issue with controllers that you're not going to worry about the defenders that much. It's just your pets are just going crazy over here. So aggressive. I wish I had a debuff toggle. God, I didn't realize this was going to turn into a task force. Just wanted to showcase this stupid build. Come on, pets, get out there. Had to wait for my creepers and stuff to catch up. They don't move very fast. think this guy keeps teleporting my creepers to him, which is fine with me. Mm-hmm. Jesus. It's like turning into like a 20-minute mission. It'd be longer. Bless you. Alright, well, there you go. I did die. I think I got spiked by something. I gotta go back and watch that. But overall, that's kind of the strategy, at least solo-wise. I can get my pets and keep buffing them. And then chip in damage as needed or as time allows. Naughty. And then beyond that, just keep, it's, even though I have a lot of firepower, my damage just felt anemic there. I don't know if this is because the map was super big, but especially against those bosses. And I know those bosses, those stupid werewolves, when they transform, those guys like they get EB levels of hit points and resistances or something like that. You just gotta beat on them and beat on them and beat on them. And that's a deficiency in this particular set is I don't have any like minus resistance here. So the only thing I'm relying upon is like the plus to hits, plus damage from some of my buffs. And then you saw that one point when all my pets got killed right away when I resummoned Flytrap, I was just hanging on until I could get them to recharge and get back on the map there. So definitely this is not a solo friendly build, I don't think either. I think overall Electrical Affinity is not solo friendly. If you're looking for a soloing set, that's not it. It's better than Empathy, but it's still pain. You need targets, and if you're only got Galvanic Sentinel, you're in big trouble because that thing can get killed pretty quickly, and you got to wait for it to recharge. I had the luxury of extra pets to focus on, so that was useful. But even with all that, I still had the one death, and I'm a little bit underwhelmed by Seeds' recharge. I need to look at that, look at my slotting, because I feel I need to get something else in there to get that coming back faster. I got it fully slotted. Recharge is 33 seconds, 78% recharge. I could swap out the psi damage for the control recharge proc instead. That might be a smart move because, I mean, how much damage is that really giving me, to be honest with you? It's probably not much. More of a luxury having the damage proc there. The damage proc. And I didn't notice any of the energy fonts, so I don't know if Creepers doesn't spawn the energy font. Maybe because they're pseudo pets. And the energy font is not going to proc because it's not the primary like damage. Like the summonable power itself is the patch, and then the patch spawns the vines, and then the vines to hit checks are not triggering the energy font because that requires the to hit checks of the primary power it's attached to. So that could be an issue. Well, it is an issue. Just wondering if I should take this set, throw it into roots, which I was spamming the crap out of. Could peel one of these slots off and throw it here to roots and throw the damage proc or the font proc there. Definitely noticed that. I need to think about this build. I might have to tweak a couple things with a quick respec before I go ahead and do the team stuff. Because that definitely, I never saw the font proc at all. And I'm not sure how often the damage. I'm going to go check the damage proc as well on the science, on my seeds. So I just didn't recall seeing it. So anyway, well, there you go. Got a couple things I need to think about before making this team video. And if I make any updates to the build, which I probably will, a couple of minor things, maybe just swap some sets around, I'll present that as I get the team video started. All right, there you go. That is Ostara's build. Her solo run to kind of give you an idea of how the sets play together. And I will check you out in the next video. Have yourselves a good weekend. Take it easy. Bye.